It's too late for you and me. It's too late for It's too late for you and me. It's too late for It's too late for you and me. It's too late for It's too late for you and me. It's too late for
Yeah, the reason why we do what we do, it's obviously like it's real. You know, like I'm not going to sit here and make up some answer about why I do what I do every day, and why I don't care as much about the bottom line and more about what it is that we're ultimately creating. We do the best work that we can, and sometimes it works, and sometimes we make mistakes, and sometimes things cost more or cost less. But ultimately, I mean, we care about what it is that we do, and we try and be conscious and about our actions, and try and be intentional. So not only being conscious, but being deliberate, being intentional as much as possible about the outcomes that we create. People have their stuff, like I was just saying, like we've all got our stuff. I mean, you can't possibly live, like I can't live the way that I'd like to live and act the way that I'd like to act at all times, with all facets of my life. It's impossible. There's too many things at play, but if we care to prioritize particular facets of our life and focus on those, I think that's where you make change. I mean, you get clients who want to reduce water consumption and eliminate the need for a heating system and use only local products, and on and on and on and on, and build their home for $200,000 even though it's a 2,000 square foot home. I mean, they want to do all of these things, and it's not possible to accomplish all of those goals. So you need to, you got to decide what you care about most, and then be intentional about achieving those goals. I mean, if you want to build a $200,000 home, like we can design and we can build that, but you're going to compromise all of these other things.
Do you personally have some sort of routine that keeps you intentional and, I guess, grounded, or how do you achieve that intention?
You've been listening to Tim Ferriss too much. I think I know that I have routines that I follow, and I think that my routines, some of them are healthy, some of them are not healthy. Routine that I'm in, I don't think I necessarily live deliberately anymore because it's become routine. There are things that I'd love to find a way to prioritize differently in my life.
Are you saying that because it's routine, it's not
intentional?
Deliberate? Like, can you have both? Like, can you intentionally set your routine? I feel like you can.
I mean, of course. I think the trick is in now and again checking yourself.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm interested in, because your mind works kind of different ways. So you can be angry at one time, or whatever, like your emotion could be. How can you, like, do you have something that would be like, okay, stop, and then let's make this whatever I'm doing intentional?
The people that I worry most about in this world are the people that are alone.
Okay.
Humans are social beings. Having people, I mean, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be one of these, it doesn't have to be a ring on your finger kind of relationship, but having people close to you, be they children or a spouse, a partner, a parent, a sibling, whatever, a friend, having people around you that care about you and that you care about, I think helps us check ourselves. The people that care about us most are probably the least afraid to call us out or to point things out or to suggest alternatives.
At the same time, though, I feel like the people that care about us most can actually harm us without realizing, or hold us back without realizing that they're doing it, because they wouldn't do it intentionally. Right? They're just doing it to protect us.
Whether you remember to look in the mirror, or one of those people in your your inner circle, if you will, acts as your mirror. I mean, however you get it, now and again, we need to take time for reflection, and people do that in all kinds of different ways. Some people will go and they'll meditate every single day, and that's either the time where they allow their mind to clear, and then by clearing their head they can then get more introspective after the fact. Or there's a few things that I do. One, I like to run. When I'm running or riding or exerting myself, not so hard that I'm really focused on that exertion, but exerting myself enough so that I'm disconnected from my phone or my computer or just people around me. When you're running down a trail, the most you can generally afford someone, especially coming the other direction, is just a quick wave. There's not the same, or at least I don't feel the same need to stop, hey, how you doing? Or just, like the greeting isn't even there. It's just a quick greeting, and it allows one to then continue in their train of thought. And frankly, at least in our culture, even a simple greeting or a wave isn't necessarily expected. So by moving quickly or by exerting oneself, you do put a bit of that bubble around, right? You can be within your bubble, and one's like, oh, okay, that guy's just sweating his ass off. He's allowed to be in his own space. And so that's one way. For me, living intentionally includes living with the people that I surround myself with. We can be intentional with our family and our friends. I believe in not only creating, a great living box to spend a lot of time in, but extending that to the neighborhood that surrounds. I made a conscious decision when I moved from that last place down the street into this place. I made a conscious decision that once this place was done for all intents and purposes, that I would then begin working on building that community that surrounds. And I bet I spend at least 10% of my time, my like the time that we're spending right now. I could be using this time to answer emails. I could be using this time to go for a run. I could be using this time to go to a meeting at the community building across the park there. Because I believe in the value of relationships and the social infrastructure that we either build or don't build around ourselves. There's no question. Business doesn't do itself. You want to be successful at business, you need to invest in what you do. But I think community and friendships, relationships in the same way. Either you invest in them or you don't. And if you don't, then I don't think you can necessarily expect that they're going to be there for you when you need them. That in our last house, I didn't invest in actively. But in the last few years, I've spent an inordinate amount of time, at least from a business perspective, pouring money, time is money, if you will, into my community. In the time that it's taken us to have this conversation, I bet I would have waved to somebody every 20 minutes. Just because they're people that you've seen at a meeting or you're at an event together, and for me that's really valuable. Really prominent urban thinkers who have come to the conclusion that it's the chance meetings on the street, on the sidewalk, on the path, in the grocery store, wherever. It's these chance meetings that are most valuable in helping us feel part of something. Helping us feel part of something supportive. My brother, he's having his wife. They're having their first kid in May. I've given him really no advice, at all. I've given him two bits of advice. I think one of them
don't
was
listen to advice.
One was just live your own way, and then the other one I said sleep now as much as you can because you might not get to later on.
I never read any books on parenting or any of that. I think Tash skimmed through a couple. I don't think there is no manual, just like what we were talking about. Everybody has their unique personality, so do kids. And you can't plan for it. You just gotta roll the punch. As soon as you think you got it figured out, they go and switch it up on you.
And it changes the way that I think about the world too. Not that I didn't, but now, it just becomes more real. We say we think about the future and we care about the future, what might happen, to this house, this neighborhood, this city, this world that we live in 20, 30, 40 years down the road. But I think it's closer to home because we sort of expect that whether it's their kid or whether it's, I don't know, for some people it's their niece or their nephew or their, whoever they're connected with. When you extend yourself into the future through a person that you care about, as opposed to just your finite life. I mean, everybody's life's finite, right? But just it makes it more real.
It's too late for you and me. It's too late for. It's too late for you and me. It's too late for. It's too late for you and me. It's too late for. It's too late for. Yeah.